Dreams to Reality, The Achievement Blueprint. Subtitle: A Practical Guide to Transforming Your Vision into Tangible Success. Imagine waking up 5 years from now, looking around at your life, and realizing that everything you see, your career, your relationships, your lifestyle, your impact on the world exists exactly as you envisioned it today. Not by accident, not by luck, but because you learned the precise science of turning dreams into reality. This isn't fantasy. This is the predictable outcome when you understand the blueprint that separates dreamers from achievers. You're about to discover that blueprint. Introduction. Your achievement journey begins now. Welcome to a conversation that could change everything. If you're listening to this audiobook, you're not content with dreaming. You're ready to build. You're ready to transform the vivid pictures in your mind into the concrete reality of your life. You're ready to close the gap between where you are and where you know you belong. But here's what most people don't tell you about achieving big dreams. It's not about motivation. Motivation is like a match. It burns bright and hot, but it burns out quickly. What you need is a system, a blueprint, a proven methodology that works whether you feel motivated or not, whether the path is smooth or rocky, whether people believe in you or doubt you. This audiobook is that system. Over the next hour, you'll discover why some people seem to effortlessly turn their wildest dreams into reality, while others remain stuck in endless cycles of planning, hoping, and starting over. You'll learn the specific strategies, mindsets, and practices that bridge the gap between intention and achievement. Most importantly, you'll walk away with a clear, actionable roadmap for your own transformation. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Dream-Reality Gap. The story of two dreamers. Sarah and Marcus both had the same dream. They wanted to open their own coffee shop, not just any coffee shop, but a community hub where artists could display their work, where people could connect over exceptional coffee, where they could create something meaningful. They both had the same resources: modest savings, no business experience, and full-time jobs they'd need to keep while building their dream. They both faced the same obstacles: skeptical family members, a competitive market, and the overwhelming complexity of starting a business. 5 years later, Sarah owns 3 thriving coffee shops and has become a mentor to other aspiring entrepreneurs. Marcus still talks about opening his coffee shop someday while scrolling through business inspiration posts on social media. What made the difference? It wasn't talent, luck, or connections. It was understanding something fundamental about how dreams become reality. The gap between dreaming and achieving isn't crossed by hoping harder, it's crossed by building bridges. The anatomy of unfulfilled dreams. Before we explore how to build those bridges, let's understand why so many dreams remain dreams. Research from the University of Scranton reveals that only 8% of people achieve their New Year's resolutions. But the problem isn't unique to January, honest, it's universal to human goal setting. The dream-reality gap exists because most people approach their goals with what I call magical thinking. They believe that having a clear vision is enough. Motivation will sustain them through difficulties. The path will become clear as they go. Success is mostly about working harder. Obstacles are unexpected problems to be avoided. Every single one of these beliefs is wrong, and they're why dreams die. The science of achievement. Neuroscientist Dr. Heidi Grant's research reveals something fascinating. The brain processes goals and achievements in fundamentally different ways. When we dream, we activate the brain's default mode network, the same region active during rest and daydreaming. It's pleasurable, but it doesn't create action. Achievement, however, requires activating the executive attention network, the brain region responsible for focus, decision-making, and sustained effort. This network thrives on specificity, deadlines, and what researchers call implementation intentions. Here's the crucial insight. Your brain needs to be trained to shift from dream mode to achievement mode. This isn't about willpower, it's about rewiring your neural pathways to favor action over imagination. The bridge-building mindset. Sarah succeeded where Marcus didn't because she understood that dreams are destinations, but achievements are engineering projects. She didn't just envision her coffee shop, she broke down the journey into concrete, manageable bridges. Bridge 1, learning the fundamentals. She spent 6 months working part-time at a local cafe. Bridge 2, building expertise. She took online courses in business management and coffee roasting. Bridge 3, creating a financial foundation. She developed a detailed savings plan and timeline. Bridge 4, testing her concept. She started by selling coffee at local farmers markets. Bridge 5, securing her location. She spent months researching neighborhoods and building relationships with property owners. Each bridge was specific, measurable, and connected to the next one. Marcus, meanwhile, kept staring at the distant shore of his dream, waiting for the perfect moment to leap across the entire gap at once. The achievement equation. After studying hundreds of successful goal achievers across different fields, from entrepreneurs to athletes to artists, I've identified what I call the achievement equation. Clear vision plus, strategic planning plus, consistent action plus, adaptive persistence, inevitable success. Notice what's not in this equation: luck, talent, perfect timing, or ideal circumstances. Those things might accelerate your journey, but they're not required for your destination. Let's break down each component. Clear vision isn't just knowing what you want, it's knowing why you want it, what success looks like specifically, and how you'll know when you've arrived. Strategic planning means breaking your goal into manageable phases, anticipating obstacles, and creating systems that work, even when motivation fails. Consistent action is about building momentum through small, daily progress rather than sporadic bursts of intense effort. Adaptive persistence means staying committed to your destination while remaining flexible about your route. Your dream audit. Before we dive deeper into the blueprint, take a moment to audit your current dreams and goals. Ask yourself, 1. What dream have you been carrying for more than a year without significant progress? 2. What specific actions have you taken toward this dream in the past 30 days? 3. What bridges need to be built between where you are now and where you want to be? 2. 4. What's one small step you could take today that would move you closer to your goal? Be honest with your answers. The gap between your dreams and your reality isn't a judgment on your worth, it's simply data that tells you where to focus your bridge-building efforts. The promise of this system. Here's what you can expect as we work through this blueprint together. You'll learn to set goals that your brain can actually achieve. You'll discover how to maintain progress even when motivation disappears. You'll develop systems that turn obstacles into stepping stones. You'll build the mental resilience necessary for long-term success. You'll create accountability structures that keep you moving forward. Most importantly, you'll join the 8% of people who don't just dream, they achieve. Ready to build your first bridge? Chapter 2. The Architecture of Achievement. The Skyscraper Principle. When architects design skyscrapers, they don't start with the penthouse. They start with the foundation, then the framework, then the systems that will support everything above. The most beautiful penthouse in the world will collapse without proper architecture beneath it. Your dreams work the same way. Most people approach their goals like they're decorating the penthouse. They focus on the exciting, visible outcomes while ignoring the foundational systems that make those outcomes possible. They want the successful business, the fit body, the happy relationship, or the creative breakthrough, but they skip the architectural phase that makes these achievements sustainable. The 5 pillars of achievement architecture. After analyzing thousands of successful goal completions, I've identified 5 foundational pillars that support every major achievement. Pillar 1. Identity alignment. Before James Clear became a best-selling author, he had a crucial realization: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. But even more fundamental than systems is identity. Your identity, how you see yourself, acts as a thermostat for your achievements. If you see yourself as someone who isn't good with money, you'll unconsciously sabotage your financial goals. If you see yourself as not a creative person, you'll quit artistic pursuits at the first sign of difficulty. The identity bridge exercise? Think about your biggest goal. Now ask, what type of person would naturally achieve this goal? If your goal is to write a novel, the identity is, I am a writer. If your goal is to start a business, the identity is, I am an entrepreneur. If your goal is to get fit, the identity is, I am an athlete. Here's the key. Start being that person before you achieve the goal. Writers write, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day. Entrepreneurs solve problems and create value, even if it's just for friends. Athletes move their bodies and pay attention to nutrition, even if they're not yet in peak shape. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you're becoming. Cast enough votes, and your identity shifts. When your identity aligns with your goal, achievement becomes inevitable because it's just what people like you do. Pillar 2, environmental design. Your environment is constantly shaping your behavior, usually without your conscious awareness. The most disciplined person in the world will struggle to eat healthy if their kitchen is full of junk food. The most motivated writer will struggle to write if their laptop is in the bedroom next to their bed. Environmental optimization strategy. Friction reduction. Make good behaviors easier by reducing the steps required. Want to exercise in the morning? Sleep in your workout clothes and put your shoes by the bed. Friction addition. Make bad behaviors harder by adding steps. Want to stop mindlessly scrolling social media? Log out of all apps and delete them from your home screen. Visual cues. Surround yourself with reminders of your goals. Keep your guitar visible if you want to practice more. Put your running shoes by the door if you want to run more. Social environment. Spend time with people who embody the identity you're building. If you want to be an entrepreneur, join entrepreneur meetups. If you want to be healthy, find workout partners. Pillar 3, systems over goals. Goals are about the results you want to achieve. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. Goals are good for setting direction, but systems are good for making progress. Consider two people with a goal of learning Spanish. Person A sets a goal. I want to be fluent in Spanish in 1 year. Person B builds a system. I will practice Spanish for 15 minutes every morning using a language app, listen to Spanish podcasts during my commute, and have a 10-minute conversation with a Spanish tutor every week. Who's more likely to succeed? Person B, because they've focused on building a sustainable system rather than just setting an outcome. The system design framework. 1. Input systems. What do you need to consume? Information, training, resources. 2. Processing systems. What do you need to practice? Skills, habits, routines. 3. Output systems. What do you need to produce? Content, results, value. 4. Feedback systems. How will you measure and adjust? Metrics, reviews, assessments. Pillar 4. Progressive overload. This principle comes from strength training. To build muscle, you must gradually increase the weight, reps, or intensity of your workouts. Your muscles adapt to the current load, so you need progressive challenge to continue growing. The same principle applies to any skill or goal. If you want to become a better writer, you can't just write the same type of content at the same level forever. You need to progressively challenge yourself with more complex topics, longer pieces, or different formats. Progressive overload in practice. Skill building. Start with basics, then add complexity incrementally. Habit formation. Begin with tiny behaviors, then gradually increase intensity or duration. Creative projects. Start with simple projects, then tackle more ambitious ones. Business goals. Start with small customers or markets, then expand systematically. The key is making progress challenging enough to create growth, but not so challenging that you become overwhelmed and quit. Pillar 5, strategic recovery. Achievement isn't just about pushing forward, it's about knowing when to rest, reflect, and recharge. Strategic recovery prevents burnout and actually accelerates long-term progress. The recovery framework. Daily recovery. Build rest and reflection into your daily routine. Weekly recovery. Take time each week to assess progress and plan ahead. Monthly recovery. Step back monthly to evaluate your systems and make adjustments. Quarterly recovery. Every 3 months, do a major review and strategic planning session. Recovery isn't laziness, it's optimization. It's during recovery that your brain consolidates learning, your body repairs and strengthens, and your creativity gets replenished. The blueprint integration process. Now that you understand the 5 pillars, here's how to integrate them into a cohesive achievement architecture. Week 1. Identity foundation. Define the identity that aligns with your goal. Start taking small daily actions that reinforce this identity. Begin tracking these identity-building actions. Week 2. Environment optimization. Audit your physical and social environment. Make changes that support your desired behaviors. Remove or reduce environmental obstacles. Week 3. System construction. Design your input, processing, output, and feedback systems. Start with the simplest version of each system. Focus on consistency over intensity. Week 4. Progressive challenge. Add slight increases in difficulty or complexity. Maintain the identity actions and environmental supports. Begin planning your next level of challenge. Week 5. Recovery integration. Build recovery periods into your schedule. Assess what's working and what needs adjustment. Celebrate progress and plan the next phase. The compound effect of architecture. When you build proper achievement architecture, something magical happens. Progress becomes automatic. You're no longer relying on motivation or willpower. You're relying on systems that work whether you feel like it or not. Sarah, our coffee shop owner from Chapter 1, succeeded because she intuitively understood this architecture. She aligned her identity, started calling herself an entrepreneur and coffee expert, designed her environment, surrounded herself with other business owners, and spent time in coffee shops studying their operations, built systems, created consistent routines for learning, saving money, and testing her ideas, applied progressive overload, started small with farmers markets, then moved to pop-up events, then to her permanent location, practiced strategic recovery, took time weekly to reflect on her progress and adjust her approach. The result? Her success looked effortless to outside observers, but it was actually the predictable outcome of solid achievement architecture. Your dreams deserve the same foundation. Chapter 3. The Clarity Protocol. The fog of unclear goals. Imagine trying to drive to a destination with a GPS that only says, "Go north." You might generally head in the right direction, but you'll waste enormous amounts of time, take wrong turns, and possibly never arrive at all. Yet this is exactly how most people approach their goals. They say they want to be successful, get in shape, find love, or make more money. But these aren't destinations, they're directions. And directions without specific coordinates lead to wandering, not arrival. The story of 2 artists. Meet Lisa and David, both aspiring artists who quit their corporate jobs to pursue their creative dreams. Lisa said her goal was to become a successful artist. She spent months creating art without any clear target market, jumping between different styles and mediums, applying to random gallery shows, and hoping someone would discover her talent. David said his goal was to earn 50 annually selling landscape paintings to homeowners in suburban Denver within 18 months. He researched his target market, studied what types of landscapes appealed to suburban homeowners, priced his work based on market research, and systematically built relationships with interior designers and home builders in his area. 2 years later, David was exceeding his income goal and had a waiting list of clients. Lisa was back to working part-time in retail, still creating art when inspiration strikes, and still waiting to be discovered. The difference wasn't talent, luck, or connections. It was clarity. The Clarity Protocol, SMART goals. You've probably heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. But most people apply this framework superficially. The Clarity Protocol takes SMART goals deeper and adds 2 crucial elements that transform them from good intentions into achievement blueprints. S. Specific with sensory detail. Specific doesn't just mean detail. It means detailed enough that someone else could achieve your goal based on your description. But we're going further. Your goal should be so specific that you can see, hear, and feel what success looks like. Instead of, I want to start a business, try, I want to launch an online course teaching busy parents how to prepare healthy meals in 30 minutes or less. The course will include 20 video lessons, downloadable meal plans, and a private community. I will launch it on my own website with at least 100 founding members. The sensory test. Close your eyes and imagine achieving this goal. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? The more vivid and detailed your mental image, the more your brain treats it as a real destination worth navigating toward. M. Measurable, with leading and lagging indicators. Most people only track lagging indicators, the final results. But leading indicators, the activities that drive results, are what you can actually control day to day. Lagging indicators, results, course revenue, number of students, customer satisfaction scores. Leading indicators, activities. Hours spent creating content, number of potential customers contacted, social media posts published, market research interviews conducted. Track both, but focus your daily attention on leading indicators. You can't control whether people buy your course today, but you can control whether you spend 2 hours working on course content. A. Achievable, with stretch. Achievable doesn't mean easy, it means possible with sustained effort and skill development. The sweet spot is what psychologists call desirable difficulty, challenging enough to require growth, but not so challenging that it feels impossible. The 10x 1x rule. If your ultimate vision is 10x bigger than where you are now, set your current goal at 1x growth. If you've never made money from your art, don't set a goal to make 100, 0 in your first year. Set a goal to make your first 1, 0, then build from there. R. Relevant, with deep why. Your goals should align with your values, your life circumstances, and your long-term vision. But more importantly, you need to understand why this goal matters to you at an emotional level. The 5 whys exercise. 1. I want to launch an online course. Why? 2. Because I want to help busy parents. Why? 3. Because I struggled as a working parent and know how hard it is. Why is that important to you? 4. Because family dinners were stressful instead of connecting. Why does that matter? 5. Because I believe families grow stronger when they share meals without stress. Why is that your mission? Keep digging until you reach an emotional core that makes you feel something. That's your real motivation. T. Time-bound, with milestones. Deadlines create urgency, but milestones create momentum. Break your timeline into quarterly, monthly, and weekly checkpoints. Example, timeline. 18-month goal. Launch course with 100 students. 12-month milestone. Complete all course content and beta test with 10 participants. 9-month milestone. Finish filming and editing 20 video lessons. 6-month milestone. Complete market research and course outline. 3-month milestone. Conduct 25 interviews with target customers. Monthly goals. Specific deliverables for each month. Weekly goals. Specific actions for each week. E. Exciting emotional connection. This is the first addition to traditional SMART goals. Your goal should genuinely excite you not just intellectually but emotionally. If you don't feel some combination of excitement and nervousness when you think about your goal, it's probably not big enough to sustain you through difficulties. The excitement test. When you tell someone about your goal, do you naturally start talking faster and with more energy? Do you find yourself thinking about it during random moments? Do you feel a pull to work on it even when you're tired? If not, either your goal isn't aligned with what you really want, or you haven't connected deeply enough with why it matters. R. Reviewed. Regular assessment. The second addition, your goal should be reviewed and potentially adjusted on a regular schedule. Goals aren't tattoos, they should evolve as you learn more about what's possible and what matters to you. The review schedule. Daily. Review your daily actions and their alignment with your weekly goals. Weekly. Assess progress toward monthly milestones and adjust upcoming week's actions. Monthly. Evaluate monthly milestones and adjust quarterly plans. Quarterly. Review overall progress and potentially adjust the goal itself. The clarity canvas. Once you've created your SMART goal, transfer it to what I call the clarity canvasa, one-page visualization that keeps your goal and its components visible. Top section, your specific, sensory, rich goal statement. Left side, your deep why, emotional drivers. Right side, your success metrics, leading and lagging indicators. Bottom left, your timeline with key milestones. Bottom right, your next 3 actions. Keep this canvas somewhere you'll see it daily. Your brain needs constant reminders of where you're going and why it matters. Common clarity mistakes. Mistake 1. Multiple goal syndrome. Trying to achieve too many major goals simultaneously. Focus on one primary goal at a time, with supporting goals that align with your primary objective. Mistake 2. Outcome obsession. Focusing only on end results instead of the process that creates results. Remember, you control actions, not outcomes. Mistake 3. Perfectionism paralysis. Waiting until your goal is perfectly defined before taking action. Your goal will clarify as you make progress. Start with good enough and refine as you go. Mistake 4. Social goal setting. Setting goals based on what looks impressive to others rather than what genuinely matters to you. Other people's applause won't sustain you through the difficult middle phase of achievement. The clarity challenge. Right now, before moving to the next chapter, write out one goal using the complete SMART framework. Don't just think about it, actually write it down. Be as specific and sensory rich as possible. Then ask yourself, if I achieved only this one goal in the next 18 months, would I consider that time well spent? If the answer is yes, you've found your clarity. If not, keep refining until you have a goal that genuinely excites you and aligns with what matters most in your life. Clarity isn't just helpful for achievement, it's essential. Without it, even the best strategies and systems in the world won't help you because you won't know where you're going. With it, every action becomes purposeful, every day becomes meaningful, and every step forward takes you closer to a destination that truly matters to you. Chapter 4. Breaking Through the Resistance. The story of the invisible force. Stephen Pressfield calls it the resistance. Tim Urban calls it the instant gratification monkey. Psychologists call it present bias or temporal discounting. Whatever you call to it, every person who has ever attempted to achieve something meaningful has encountered this invisible force that seems designed to keep you exactly where you are. The resistance is why you can feel genuinely motivated about your goal in the morning, then find yourself scrolling social media instead of working on it by afternoon. It's why you can have perfect clarity about what you need to do, but somehow never quite get around to doing it. It's why good intentions and great plans often lead to frustration and self-doubt rather than progress. But here's what most people don't understand. The resistance isn't a character flaw, it's a feature of human psychology that can be understood, anticipated, and overcome. Meet the resistance in all its forms. The resistance is shapeshifter. It adapts to your specific situation and goal, but it always serves the same function, keeping you in your comfort zone. Here are its most common disguises. The perfectionist. I need to research more before I start. The plan isn't quite ready yet. I should wait until I have more time, money, skills. The perfectionist convinces you that preparation is progress, but it's actually a sophisticated form of procrastination. You can spend months perfecting a business plan while never talking to a single potential customer. The critic. You're not qualified for this. Who are you to think you can succeed where others have failed? You're going to embarrass yourself? The critic uses your own voice against you, creating an internal commentary that undermines confidence before you even begin. The overwhelmer. This is too complicated. There are too many things to figure out. You don't even know where to start. The overwhelmer takes your big goal and makes it feel impossibly complex, like trying to eat an elephant in one bite. The comparer. Look how successful they are at your age. Everyone else seems to have it figured out. You should have started years ago. The comparer uses other people's highlight reels to make your behind-the-scenes work feel inadequate. The rationalist. This isn't the right time. You have too many other responsibilities. It's better to be realistic. The rationalist is perhaps the most dangerous because its arguments sound completely logical. It's the voice of common sense that keeps you safe but small. The neuroscience of resistance. To overcome the resistance, you need to understand what's happening in your brain. When you think about working on your goal, two different brain systems activate. The limbic system, ancient, emotional, fast. This system is focused on immediate survival and comfort. It perceives any change or challenge as a potential threat. When you think about starting that business, writing that book, or having that difficult conversation, your limbic system sounds the alarm. Danger. Stay safe. Don't risk it. The prefrontal cortex, newer, rational, slow. This is your executive brain, the part that can plan, analyze, and make decisions based on long-term benefits rather than immediate comfort. This is where your goals and intentions live. The problem is that your limbic system is faster and often stronger than your prefrontal cortex. It can hijack your decision-making before your rational brain even knows what's happening. But there's good news. You can train your prefrontal cortex to be more consistent and powerful than your limbic system. The Resistance Breaking Toolkit. Tool 1. The 2-minute rule. When the resistance tells you a task is too big or overwhelming, make it so small that it seems ridiculous not to do it. Instead of work on my business plan, the action becomes open the business plan document. Instead of exercise for an hour, it becomes put on workout clothes. The genius of this approach is that starting is often the hardest part. Once you've opened the document, you'll often keep working. Once you've put on workout clothes, you'll often start exercising, and even if you don't, you've still won the most important battle. You've taken action despite the resistance. Implementation. For any goal-related task, identify the smallest possible first step. Make it so small that doing it takes less energy than continuing to avoid it. Tool 2. The implementation intention. Instead of just setting goals, set if-then implementation intentions. Research by psychologist Peter Gollwitzer shows that this simple technique can double your success rate. Standard intention: I will work on my course content. Implementation intention: if it's 7 a.m. on a weekday, then I will sit at my desk and work on course content for 25 minutes. The if-then format pre-decides your behavior, reducing the cognitive load of decision-making in the moment. When 7 a.m. arrives, you don't have to debate whether to work on your course, you just follow your pre-programmed instruction. Tool 3. The resistance session. Instead of fighting the resistance, schedule time to fully experience it. Set a timer for 10 minutes and write down every fear, doubt, and concern you have about your goal. Don't try to solve anything or talk yourself out of these feelings. Just acknowledge them. This technique works because the resistance loses power when it's brought into the light. Most of our fears and doubts feel overwhelming when they're swirling around unconsciously in our minds, but they become manageable when we examine them directly. After your resistance session, ask, what would I do if these fears weren't a factor? Then do that thing. Tool 4. The progress stack. The resistance thrives on the feeling that you're not making progress. Combat this by creating a progress stack, a visual record of every small action you take toward your goal. This could be check marks on a calendar for daily actions, a jar that you add a marble to each time you work on your goal, a simple tally sheet tracking completed tasks, photos documenting your progress. The key is making your progress visible and cumulative. Each small action becomes evidence that you're the kind of person who follows through on commitments. Tool 5. The environmental interrupt. Change your physical environment when you encounter strong resistance. If you're feeling stuck working on your laptop at your kitchen table, move to a coffee shop. If you're avoiding making important phone calls at your desk, take your phone and walk around the block while making the calls. Environmental changes interrupt the mental patterns associated with avoidance and give your prefrontal cortex a chance to take control. The resistance paradox. Here's something counterintuitive. The stronger the resistance you feel towards something, the more important that thing probably is for your growth. Stephen Pressfield puts it this way: the more important a call or action is to our soul's evolution, the more resistance we will feel toward pursuing it. Think about it. You don't feel resistance toward watching Netflix or scrolling social media because these activities don't threaten your current identity or comfort zone. You feel resistance towards starting that business, writing that book, or having that difficult conversation because these activities have the power to transform your life. So when you encounter strong resistance, don't see it as a sign that you should quit. See it as a compass pointing toward what matters most. The Daily Resistance Protocol. Here's a daily practice for systematically overcoming resistance. Morning, 5 minutes. Review your implementation intentions for the day. Identify the one task you're most likely to avoid. Break that task into the smallest possible first step. During work, as needed. When you feel resistance, pause and identify which form it's taking. Apply the appropriate tool from your toolkit. Take one small action immediately, even if you don't feel like it. Evening, 5 minutes. Acknowledge any progress you made, no matter how small. Add to your progress stack. Set your implementation intention for tomorrow's most important task. The long game. Remember, overcoming resistance isn't about becoming someone who never feels fear, doubt, or reluctance. It's about becoming someone who feels those things and takes action anyway. Every time you act despite the resistance, you're building what psychologists call self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to execute the actions necessary to manage situations. You're proving to yourself that you can be trusted to follow through on your commitments. This is perhaps the most valuable skill you can develop, because it's the foundation for every other achievement in your life. When you know you can rely on yourself to take action despite internal resistance, no goal is too big, no dream is too ambitious, and no transformation is impossible. The resistance will never fully disappear. It's part of being human, but it doesn't have to control your choices. You can acknowledge its presence, understand its purpose, and then calmly move forward with your plans anyway. That's not just how you achieve your goals, that's how you become the person capable of achieving them. Chapter 5. The Momentum Machine. The Physics of Achievement. Newton's first law of motion states that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion, unless acted upon by an outside force. This law doesn't just govern physical objects, it governs human behavior, projects, and dreams. The hardest part of any achievement isn't the middle or the end, it's the beginning. Starting from zero takes enormous energy because you're fighting inertia, doubt, and the gravitational pull of your current life. But once you build momentum, progress becomes increasingly easier and more automatic. The question is, how do you build that initial momentum when everything feels difficult and uncertain? The story of two runners. Maria and Tom both decided to train for their first marathon. Both were out of shape, both had busy schedules, and both had never run more than a mile without stopping. Maria's approach. She bought all the best gear, downloaded a sophisticated training app, planned her route through the most scenic part of town, and committed to running 5 miles every other day. On day 1, she made it 2 miles before walking home exhausted and discouraged. By day 4, she was making excuses to skip runs. Within 2 weeks, her running shoes were gathering dust. Tom's approach. He committed to putting on his running shoes and stepping outside every single day for 30 days. That's it. No distance requirements, no pace goals, no route planning. Some days he ran for 20 minutes. Some days he walked around the block. Some days he just stood in his driveway for 5 minutes before going back inside. But something interesting happened around day 10. Since he was already outside with his shoes on, he started running a little more. By day 20, he was naturally running for 15-20 minutes most days. By day 30, he was excited to increase his commitment because running had become automatic. 6 months later, Tom completed his first marathon. Maria was still talking about getting back into running. The difference wasn't willpower, genetics, or circumstances. Tom understood something crucial about momentum. You build it with consistency, not intensity. The momentum equation. After studying hundreds of successful habit formations and goal achievements, I've identified what I call the momentum equation. Small actions plus daily consistency plus gradual increase equals unstoppable momentum. Let's break this down. Small actions. Start with behaviors so small they feel almost trivial. The goal isn't to make dramatic progress immediately, it's to establish the neural pathway of taking action. Daily consistency. Momentum is built through frequency, not duration. It's better to work on your goal for 10 minutes every day than for 3 hours once a week. Gradual increase. Once the small action becomes automatic, usually 2-4 weeks, gradually increase the intensity, duration, or complexity. The momentum building phases. Phase 1. The spark. Days 1-7. This is where most people focus too much energy and burn out quickly. Your only job in phase 1 is to show up consistently with the smallest possible action. Rules for phase 1. Make your action so small, it seems silly not to do it. Focus on consistency over quality or quantity. Celebrate showing up. Regardless of results, don't judge your performance, just track your consistency. Example, if your goal is to write a book, don't try to write a chapter on day 1. Commit to opening your laptop and writing 1 sentence every day. Phase 2. The rhythm. Days 8-21. In phase 2, your small action starts feeling more natural. You'll notice less internal resistance and more automatic behavior. This is when you can begin very gradual increases. Rules for phase 2. Increase your action by no more than 10-25% per week. Maintain daily consistency as your top priority. Notice and celebrate the reduced resistance you feel. Begin tracking leading indicators of progress. Example, after a week of writing 1 sentence daily, increase to writing for 5 minutes daily, then 10 minutes daily. Phase 3. The flow. Days 22-66. Phase 3 is where momentum becomes self-sustaining. You'll start looking forward to your action instead of dreading it. You'll feel off when you miss a day. This is when significant progress becomes possible. Rules for phase 3. Continue gradual increases based on your natural capacity. Add complexity or new related behaviors. Focus on systems and processes that support larger goals. Begin planning your next level of challenge. Example: after 3 weeks of consistent daily writing, you might naturally find yourself writing for 20-30 minutes and producing several paragraphs or even pages. Phase 4. The machine, day 67. Research suggests it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit. By phase 4, your behavior has become automatic and self-reinforcing. You're no longer building momentum, you're using it to create significant results. Rules for phase 4. Leverage your momentum to tackle bigger challenges. Stack additional habits onto your established routine. Focus on optimization and efficiency. Use your success as evidence that you can build momentum in other areas. The momentum multipliers. Once you understand the basic momentum equation, you can accelerate the process with these multipliers. Multiplier 1. Environmental momentum. Design your environment to support automatic action. This means friction reduction. Make it easier to do the right thing. Keep your gym bag in your car. Visual cues. Place reminders where you'll see them. Put your book on your pillow so you see it when you go to bed. Social momentum. Surround yourself with people who support your new behavior. Multiplier 2. Identity momentum. Each small action is a vote for the type of person you're becoming. Consciously connect your actions to your evolving identity. I'm the type of person who writes every day. I'm the type of person who keeps commitments to myself. I'm the type of person who follows through on goals. Multiplier 3. Emotional momentum. Connect positive emotions to your consistent actions. Celebrate small wins immediately. Track your progress visually. Share your consistency with supportive people. Reward yourself for maintaining streaks. Multiplier 4. Stack momentum. Once one behavior becomes automatic, use it as the foundation for building additional behaviors. After I write for 10 minutes, I read 1 page of a book in my field. After I exercise, I plan my healthy meals for the day. After I review my goals, I identify my most important task for tomorrow. The momentum killers. Just as there are multipliers that accelerate momentum, there are momentum killers that can stop your progress. Killer 1. The perfectionist restart. This is when you miss a day or two and decide you need to start over with a perfect streak. Instead, just resume your behavior immediately. A streak is less important than the overall pattern. Killer 2. The intensity trap. Getting excited about your progress and dramatically increasing the difficulty too quickly. This usually leads to burnout and abandonment. Stick to gradual increases. Killer 3. The comparison spiral. Looking at other people's progress and feeling like yours is too slow. Remember, consistency beats intensity, and your only competition is who you were yesterday. Killer 4. The all or nothing mentality. Believing that if you can't do your full planned action, you shouldn't do anything. Always have a minimum viable action, something you can do even on your worst days. The compound effect of momentum. Here's what makes momentum so powerful. Small, consistent actions compound exponentially over time. If you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you'll be 37 times better by the end of the year. That's the mathematical power of consistency and gradual improvement. But the psychological power is even greater. As you build momentum in one area, you develop what researchers call generalized self-efficacy, confidence in your ability to achieve goals in any area of your life. When you prove to yourself that you can build momentum around writing, exercise, or learning a new skill, you start to believe you can build momentum around anything. This creates an upward spiral where each success makes the next success more likely. The Daily Momentum Protocol. Here's a simple daily practice for building and maintaining momentum. Morning momentum ritual, 3 minutes. 1. Review your current streak. How many consecutive days you've maintained your behavior. 2. Visualize completing today's minimum action. 3. Identify exactly when and where you'll take your action today. Action execution. 1. When it's time for your action, start immediately without negotiation. 2. Focus only on showing up, not on perfect performance. 3. If you feel resistance, remind yourself you only need to do the minimum. Evening momentum review, 2 minutes. 1. Mark whether you completed your action. Visual tracking is powerful. 2. If yes, acknowledge yourself for maintaining consistency. 3. If no, identify what got in the way and plan how to handle it tomorrow. 4. Set your intention for tomorrow's action, building multiple momentum streams. Once you've successfully built momentum in one area, you can begin building momentum in additional areas. However, there's a specific strategy for this: the sequential approach. Build one behavior to automatic before adding another. The stack approach. Add new behaviors immediately after existing automatic behaviors. The theme approach. Group related behaviors around a specific time or context. For example, sequential, master daily writing, then add daily reading. Stack. After daily writing, spend 5 minutes learning about marketing. Theme. Create a morning success routine that includes multiple quick behaviors. Your momentum action plan. Before moving to the next chapter, identify one specific area where you want to build momentum. 1. Choose your target behavior. What's one small action that would move you toward your goal? 2. Make it minimum viable. What's the smallest version of this action you could do daily? 3. Set your trigger. When and where will you do this action every day? 4. Plan your tracking. How will you visually track your consistency? 5. Identify your obstacles. What's most likely to derail your consistency, and how will you handle it? Remember, the goal isn't to achieve your entire dream in the next 30 days. The goal is to build the momentum that will make your dream inevitable. Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. Momentum is the bridge between dreaming and achieving, and you're about to build that bridge one small action at a time. Chapter 6. Navigating Setbacks and Pivots. The Myth of Linear Progress. If you could see a graph of every successful person's journey toward their goals, you might be surprised. Instead of a smooth upward line, you'd see something that looks more like a heart monitor. Ups and downs, sudden drops, unexpected spikes, flat periods, and dramatic climbs. Yet, most of us expect our own progress to be linear. We plan for steady improvement and consistent forward movement. When we encounter setbacks, obstacles, or the need to change direction, we interpret these as failures rather than normal parts of the achievement process. This misunderstanding causes more people to quit their goals than any lack of talent, resources, or opportunity. They encounter their first major setback and conclude they're not cut out for success, when in reality, they've just reached the first inevitable test of their commitment. The story of two entrepreneurs. Rachel and Kevin both launched online businesses selling handmade products. Both had similar backgrounds, similar products, and similar initial enthusiasm. Both encountered the same setback. After 6 months of effort, they were each losing money and had fewer than 50 total sales. Rachel's response: "This isn't working. I must not be meant to be an entrepreneur. Maybe I should just get a regular job and forget about this business idea." Kevin's response: "This approach isn't working. Let me figure out what I can learn from these 6 months, what I need to change, and how I can pivot toward what customers actually want." Rachel shut down her business and went back to her corporate job, convinced that entrepreneurship wasn't for her. Kevin spent 2 weeks analyzing his data, surveying his few customers, and researching successful businesses in his space. He discovered that his products were fine, but he was targeting the wrong market and using ineffective marketing channels. He pivoted his strategy, focused on corporate gifts instead of individual consumers, and shifted from social media marketing to direct sales. 18 months later, Kevin's business was generating six-figure annual revenue. The same setback that convinced Rachel to quit became Kevin's turning point towards success. The difference wasn't resilience, intelligence, or luck. Kevin understood something crucial. Setbacks aren't roadblocks, they're course corrections. Reframing setbacks. The data mindset. The most successful goal achievers don't experience fewer setbacks than everyone else. They interpret setbacks differently. Instead of seeing setbacks as evidence of failure, they see them as data points that inform better decisions. Here's the shift. Fixed mindset. This setback means I'm not good at this. Growth mindset. This setback tells me what doesn't work, which gets me closer to what does work. Fixed mindset. I've wasted 6 months on this failed attempt. Growth mindset. I've invested 6 months in learning what my market actually needs. Fixed mindset. I should have known this wouldn't work. Growth mindset. Now I know this doesn't work, which no amount of planning could have taught me. This isn't just positive thinking, it's accurate thinking. Every setback contains information that can improve your strategy, and every failure eliminates options that don't work, bringing you closer to options that do. The anatomy of setbacks? Not all setbacks are created equal. Understanding the different types helps you respond appropriately. Type 1. Skill deficits. What it looks like. You know what to do, but you don't yet have the skills to execute effectively. Example: you launch a podcast, but struggle with audio editing and interview techniques. Response: focus on skill development. Take courses, practice deliberately, find mentors or hire experts to fill gaps while you learn. Type 2. Strategy misalignment. What it looks like. You're executing well, but your approach doesn't match market reality or your target audience's needs. Example: you create a detailed online course, but your audience prefers short, actionable videos. Response: gather data about what your audience actually wants, then adjust your approach accordingly. Type 3. Resource constraints. What it looks like. Your strategy is sound and your skills are adequate, but you lack the time, money, or support needed for execution. Example: you want to expand your service business, but don't have capital for additional equipment or staff. Response: get creative about resources. Bootstrap, barter, partner, or find ways to test your expansion with minimal upfront investment. Type 4. External disruptions. What it looks like. Forces beyond your control change the rules of the game. Example: a global pandemic disrupts your restaurant business, or new technology makes your service obsolete. Response: adapt quickly. Look for opportunities within the disruption and be willing to pivot your entire approach if necessary. Type 5. Internal blocks. What it looks like. Self-sabotage, fear, imposter syndrome, or other psychological barriers prevent you from taking actions you know you should take. Example: you have opportunities to promote your business, but consistently avoid networking events or sales conversations. Response: address the internal barrier directly through mindset work, therapy, coaching, or gradual exposure to build confidence. The pivot framework. Sometimes setbacks aren't just obstacles to overcome, they're signals that you need to pivot your entire approach. But how do you know when to persist through difficulties versus when to change direction? The pivot decision matrix. Ask yourself 4 questions. 1. Am I learning? If you're gaining new insights, skills, or market intelligence, persistence may be worthwhile, even if results are slow. 2. Am I solving a real problem? If there's genuine demand for what you're offering, the issue may be execution rather than concept. 3. Am I still passionate about the outcome? If you've lost enthusiasm for your goal itself, not just the current approach, it may be time for a major pivot. 4. Do I have a clear next experiment? If you can identify specific changes that might improve results, try those before abandoning the goal. Types of pivots. Micro pivots, small adjustments to your current approach. Change your target market, adjust your pricing strategy, modify your marketing channels, refine your product features. Macro pivots, significant changes to your strategy while maintaining your core goal. Shift from product to service or vice versa. Change your business model. Target a completely different market. Partner with others instead of going solo. Meta pivots, fundamental changes to your goal itself. Shift from entrepreneurship to career advancement. Change from fitness competition to general health. Move from writing novels to freelance writing. The setback recovery protocol. When you encounter a significant setback, resist the urge to immediately change course or abandon your goal. Instead, follow this systematic recovery process. Step 1. The pause, 24-48 hours. Allow yourself to feel disappointed, frustrated, or discouraged. These emotions are normal, and trying to suppress them usually backfires. But set a time limit, don't wallow indefinitely. Step 2. The analysis, 1 week. Once emotions have settled, analyze what happened. What specific factors contributed to this setback? What did you learn that you didn't know before? What worked well even if the overall result was disappointing? What would you do differently if you could start over? Step 3. The decision, 1 week. Based on your analysis, decide your next move. Persist, continue with your current approach, but incorporate lessons learned. Adjust, make significant modifications to your strategy while keeping your core goal. Pivot, change your approach substantially while maintaining your general direction. Pause, take a temporary break to reassess or address other priorities. Abandon, conclude this goal is no longer worth pursuing, this should be rare. Step 4. The recommitment, day 1 of your new approach. Whatever you decide, commit fully to your new path. Half-hearted efforts after setbacks rarely succeed because you're still mentally attached to the previous approach. Building resilient systems. The best way to handle setbacks is to build systems that make you more resilient before setbacks occur. Diversified metrics. Don't rely on a single measure of progress. Track multiple indicators so that when one shows negative results, others can maintain your motivation. Leading indicators, actions you can control. Lagging indicators, results those actions produce. Learning indicators, skills and knowledge gained. Relationship indicators, connections and trust built. Scenario planning. Before starting any major initiative, spend time imagining potential setbacks and how you'd respond. What's the most likely obstacle you'll encounter? What would you do if your initial timeline proves unrealistic? How would you adjust if your budget gets cut in half? What's your backup plan if your primary strategy doesn't work? Support networks. Build relationships with people who can provide different types of support. Mentors. People who've achieved what you're working toward. Peers. Others working on similar goals who understand your challenges. Cheerleaders. Friends and family who believe in you unconditionally. Coaches. Professionals who can provide objective guidance and accountability. Recovery rituals. Develop specific practices for bouncing back from difficulties. A morning routine that centers you regardless of what happened yesterday. Physical activities that help you process, stress, and think clearly. Reflection practices that help you extract lessons from challenges. Celebration habits that acknowledge progress even when results are mixed. The compound effect of overcoming setbacks. Here's something most people don't realize. Overcoming setbacks often accelerates your progress more than smooth sailing would have. When Kevin pivoted his business strategy after his initial setback, he didn't just get back on track, he leapfrogged ahead of where he would have been with his original plan. The lessons learned from failure helped him avoid months or years of additional mistakes. When you successfully navigate setbacks, you develop anti-fragility. the ability to get stronger from stress rather than just surviving it. Pattern recognition, the ability to spot problems earlier and adjust more quickly. Confidence, proof that you can handle difficulties, which makes you more willing to take necessary risks. Wisdom, hard-earned knowledge that can't be gained through planning or research alone. Your setback preparation plan. Before you encounter your next setback, and you will, prepare yourself. 1. Identify your vulnerability. What type of setback is most likely given your current goal and approach? 2. Build your support network. Who can you turn to for different types of help when things get difficult? 3. Diversify your metrics. What multiple indicators will you track to maintain motivation during tough periods? 4. Plan your recovery ritual. How will you process setbacks when they occur? 5. Define your pivot triggers. What specific conditions would cause you to change your approach versus persist through difficulties? Remember, setbacks are not detours from the path to your goals, they are part of the path. The people who achieve their biggest dreams aren't the ones who avoid difficulties. They're the ones who navigate difficulties skillfully. Your next setback isn't something to fear. It's your next opportunity to prove to yourself that you can handle whatever your dreams require of you. Chapter 7. The Achievement Mindset. The story of two Olympic hopefuls. Michael and David were both talented swimmers with Olympic dreams. They had similar times, similar training schedules, and similar access to coaching. But their mindsets couldn't have been more different. Before big competitions, Michael would visualize everything that could go wrong. What if he false started? What if his main rival had a perfect race? What if he choked under pressure? He'd lie awake the night before races, running through disaster scenarios, trying to prepare for every possible failure. David had a different pre-race ritual. He would visualize his ideal race in vivid detail, the feel of hitting his stroke rate perfectly, the satisfaction of touching the wall knowing he'd given everything, the pride of seeing his personal best time on the scoreboard. But he also spent time visualizing how he'd respond to challenges. If he had a slower start than planned, he'd stay calm and trust his finishing strength. If a competitor pulled ahead, he'd use it as motivation to find another gear. Both swimmers made it to the Olympic trials. Michael, despite his talent, struggled with anxiety and underperformed when it mattered most. David not only made the Olympic team but won a medal. The difference wasn't physical ability, it was the mindset they brought to their pursuit of excellence. What is the achievement mindset? The achievement mindset isn't about positive thinking, wishful thinking, or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's a specific way of interpreting events, setbacks, and possibilities that maximizes your likelihood of reaching your goals. Research by psychologist Carol Dweck and others has identified key mental patterns that distinguish high achievers from those who struggle to reach their potential. These patterns can be learned, practiced, and internalized by anyone willing to examine and adjust their mental habits. The achievement mindset rests on 5 core pillars. Pillar 1, growth orientation. Fixed mindset. I either have the talent for this or I don't. Growth mindset. My abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. People with a growth orientation see their brain and talents as muscles that get stronger with use. They're more likely to embrace challenges as opportunities to improve, view effort as the path to mastery, not a sign of inadequacy, learn from criticism instead of taking it personally, find inspiration in other people's success instead of feeling threatened. Practical application. When you encounter difficulty, ask, what can this teach me? Instead of, why can't I do this? When you see someone succeeding in your field, ask, what can I learn from their approach? Instead of, why are they so lucky? Pillar 2, process focus. Outcome focus. I need to achieve X result by Y date. Process focus. I need to consistently execute X behaviors that lead to Y results. While it's important to have clear outcome goals, achievement mindset focuses most attention on the processes that create outcomes. This shift is powerful because you can control processes, but not outcomes. Focusing on process reduces anxiety about results. Good processes compound over time to create outstanding outcomes. Process focus makes you more resilient when individual outcomes disappoint. Practical application. Instead of obsessing over whether you'll hit your revenue target this month, focus on whether you're consistently executing the sales activities that drive revenue. Instead of worrying about whether you'll lose 20 pounds, focus on whether you're sticking to your nutrition and exercise systems. Pillar 3. Possibility thinking. Limitation thinking. That's impossible given my circumstances. Possibility thinking. How might that be possible given my circumstances? Possibility thinking doesn't mean being unrealistic, it means being creative about finding paths forward. It's the difference between "I can't afford that course" and "How could I afford that course?" The first shuts down options, the second opens them up. Practical application. When you encounter an obstacle, spend at least as much time brainstorming solutions as you do analyzing the problem. Ask questions like, what would need to be true for this to work? Who has solved a similar problem? And what did they do? What's one small experiment I could try to test whether this is possible? Pillar 4. Ownership mentality. Victim mentality. This isn't working because of external factors beyond my control. Ownership mentality. What can I control or influence to improve this situation? Ownership mentality doesn't mean taking responsibility for things genuinely outside your control. It means focusing your energy on the aspects of any situation that you can influence, however small they might be. Practical application. When things aren't going according to plan, ask, what's within my control in this situation? What could I do differently to get a better result? What can I learn that will help me handle similar situations better in the future? Pillar 5. Long-term perspective. Short-term thinking, this isn't working fast enough. Long-term thinking, what I'm building today will compound over time. Achievement mindset operates on a timeline measured in years and decades, not days and weeks. This perspective helps you stay motivated during inevitable slow periods. Make decisions that sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term benefits. Build systems and relationships that compound over time. Maintain consistency, even when immediate results aren't visible. Practical application. When you feel impatient with your progress, zoom out and ask, where will I be in 5 years if I keep doing what I'm doing today? What would I regret more, continuing this challenging path or giving up? How will my future self thank me for the work I'm doing today? The Mindset Shift Toolkit. Changing your mindset isn't about forcing yourself to think differently. It's about building new mental habits through consistent practice. Here are specific tools for developing each pillar. Tool 1. The learning question. Every time you encounter a challenge or setback, immediately ask, what can this teach me that will make me better at achieving my goals? This simple question shifts your brain from victim mode to learning mode, transforming obstacles into education. Tool 2. The process journal. At the end of each day, write down, what process improvements did I make today? What actions did I take that align with my long-term goals? What did I learn about executing my systems more effectively? This practice trains your brain to focus on what you can control rather than outcomes you can't control. Tool 3. The possibility question. When facing any limitation or obstacle, ask, if I had to find a way to make this work, what would I try? This question bypasses your brain's tendency to focus on why something won't work and activates your creative problem-solving abilities. Tool 4. The ownership audit. Once a week, review your biggest challenges and ask, what aspects of this situation can I control or influence? What would I need to learn, do, or change to improve this situation? Who could I ask for help or advice? Tool 5. The future self-visualization. Once a month, spend 10 minutes visualizing yourself 5 years from now, having achieved your major goals. Then ask, what daily habits did future self maintain to create this outcome? What mindset shifts did future self make along the way? What would future self want current self to focus on right now? Common mindset traps. Even when you understand the achievement mindset intellectually, it's easy to fall into mental traps that undermine your progress. Trap 1. The comparison spiral. Constantly measuring your progress against other people's highlight reels. This leads to discouragement and distraction from your own path. Antidote. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. Use other people's success as proof of what's possible, not as evidence of your inadequacy. Trap 2. The perfectionism prison. Believing that anything less than perfect execution isn't worth doing. This leads to procrastination and all-or-nothing thinking. Antidote. Embrace good enough as the enemy of perfect. Focus on consistent action over perfect action. Trap 3. The motivation dependency. Waiting to feel motivated before taking action toward your goals. Motivation is unreliable and temporary. Antidote. Build systems that work regardless of how you feel. Take action to create motivation, not the other way around. Trap 4. The timeline obsession. Getting so focused on when something will happen that you lose sight of whether you're doing the work to make it happen. Antidote. Set target dates for planning purposes, but focus your daily attention on process execution. Building your mindset practice. Like physical fitness, mental fitness requires consistent practice. Here's a simple daily routine for strengthening your achievement mindset. Morning, 5 minutes. Review your long-term goals and why they matter to you. Identify your most important process goal for today. Set an intention to approach challenges with curiosity rather than frustration. Throughout the day, when you catch yourself in fixed mindset thinking, gently redirect to growth mindset. When facing obstacles, pause and ask possibility questions before defaulting to limitation thinking. When things don't go as planned, look for what you can control or influence. Evening, 5 minutes. Reflect on what you learned today. Acknowledge the processes you executed, regardless of outcomes. Appreciate any progress, however small. The compound effect of mindset. Your mindset doesn't just influence how you feel about your goals, it influences the actions you take, the opportunities you notice, the relationships you build, and the resilience you demonstrate when facing challenges. Over time, small differences in mindset create enormous differences in outcomes. The person who sees setbacks as learning opportunities will take more risks and recover faster than the person who sees setbacks as evidence of inadequacy. The person who focuses on process will be more consistent than the person who's distracted by outcomes. The person who thinks in possibilities will find more creative solutions than the person who focuses on limitations. Your mindset is perhaps the most powerful tool in your achievement toolkit because it influences how effectively you use every other tool. The good news is that mindset is completely within your control. You can't control market conditions, other people's actions, or unexpected circumstances. But you can always control how you interpret events and what meaning you assign to your experiences. That ability to choose your mental response to any situation, that's not just the foundation of achievement, that's the foundation of a life lived on your own terms. Chapter 8. Building your support ecosystem. The myth of the self-made success. If you study the biographies of highly successful people, you'll notice something interesting. They almost never achieved their biggest goals alone. Behind every self-made entrepreneur, there's usually a mentor who provided crucial guidance. Behind every breakthrough artist, there are early supporters who believed in their work. Behind every athletic champion, there's a team of coaches, training partners, and supporters who help them reach their potential. Yet most of us approach our goals as if we're supposed to figure everything out by ourselves. We hesitate to ask for help, struggle in isolation, and miss opportunities for acceleration that come from connecting with the right people. This isolation isn't just limiting, it's unnecessary. Building a support ecosystem around your goals isn't just helpful. For most significant achievements, it's essential. The story of two app developers. Jessica and Alex both decided to create mobile apps. Both had similar technical skills, similar app ideas, and similar financial resources to start. But their approaches to building support couldn't have been more different. Jessica believed she needed to prove herself by doing everything alone. She spent months building her app in isolation, researching everything herself, and avoiding bothering people with questions. When she finally launched, she had a technically sound product but no users, no marketing strategy, and no understanding of what her target market actually wanted. Alex took a different approach. Before writing a single line of code, he found 3 successful app developers who agreed to mentor him in exchange for occasionally helping with their projects. Joined 2 online communities for mobile developers, connected with 5 potential users who agreed to provide feedback throughout his development process. Found an accountability partner who was also building an app. By the time Alex launched, he had a product shaped by user feedback, a marketing plan informed by mentor advice, and a network of people excited to share his app with their audiences. 2 years later, Alex's app had generated 6-figure revenue and been acquired by a larger company. Jessica was still working on her second version, having learned painful and expensive lessons about user acquisition and market fit. The difference wasn't talent, luck, or initial resources. Alex understood something crucial. Your network is your net worth, and your support system is your success system. The anatomy of a support ecosystem. A complete support ecosystem includes different types of people who serve different functions in your achievement journey. Layer 1. The inner circle. 1-3 people. These are your closest allies, people who know your goals intimately and are personally invested in your success. They provide emotional support, honest feedback, and accountability. Who they might be? Spouse, best friend, business partner, or accountability buddy? What they provide: unconditional support, reality checks, motivation during difficult times. How to cultivate: share your goals openly, ask for specific types of support, and reciprocate with their goals. Layer 2. Mentors and advisors. 2-5 people. These are people who have achieved what you're working toward or have expertise relevant to your goals. They provide guidance, perspective, and help you avoid common mistakes. Who they might be: industry veterans, successful entrepreneurs, coaches, or subject matter experts. What they provide: strategic guidance, pattern recognition, introductions to opportunities. How to cultivate: offer value first, ask specific questions, respect their time, and implement their advice. Layer 3. Peers and collaborators. 5-15 people. These are people working on similar goals or complementary projects. They provide mutual support, collaboration opportunities, and shared learning. Who they might be: fellow entrepreneurs, other writers, people in your mastermind group, or members of professional associations. What they provide: shared experiences, collaboration opportunities, mutual accountability. How to cultivate: join communities, attend networking events, participate in online forums, start or join a mastermind group. Layer 4. Champions and amplifiers. 10-50 people. These are people who believe in your work and are willing to help spread the word. They might not work directly with you, but they support your mission and help expand your reach. Who they might be: early customers, social media followers, industry influencers, or friends who share your content. What they provide: word of mouth marketing, social proof, expanded reach. How to cultivate: create value for others, be generous with recognition, maintain authentic relationships. Layer 5. Learning community. unlimited. This includes everyone you learn from, even if you don't have direct relationships with them. This layer provides inspiration, education, and modeling of what's possible, who they might be. Authors, podcasters, speakers, online educators, or successful people in your field. What they provide: knowledge, inspiration, examples of success strategies, how to cultivate. Consume their content thoughtfully, implement their teachings, share their work with others. The network building strategy. Building a support ecosystem isn't about collecting business cards or adding LinkedIn connections. It's about creating genuine relationships where you provide value to others while receiving support for your own goals. Phase 1. Audit your current network. Before building new relationships, assess what you already have. Who in your current network has achieved goals similar to yours? Who has skills, knowledge, or connections that could help you? Who would you feel comfortable asking for advice or feedback? Who might benefit from your own skills, knowledge, or connections? Phase 2. Identify your network gaps. Based on your goals, what types of support do you need that you don't currently have? Knowledge gaps. What do you need to learn that someone could teach you? Skill gaps. What abilities do you need to develop with guidance? Connection gaps. Who do you need to meet to advance your goals? Accountability gaps. Who could help keep you on track? Emotional gaps. Who could provide encouragement during difficult times? Phase 3. Create your value proposition. Before reaching out to new people, clarify what you can offer in return. What skills do you have that others might find valuable? What connections could you make for others? What knowledge could you share? How could you help others achieve their goals? Phase 4. Strategic outreach. Approach relationship building systematically. Start warm. Begin with introductions through mutual connections. Be specific. Ask for particular advice or feedback, not general pick-your-brain requests. Offer value first. Lead with how you can help them before asking for anything. Follow through. Implement advice you receive and report back on results. The art of asking for help. Many people struggle with asking for help because they see it as a sign of weakness or an imposition on others. But asking for help skillfully is actually a form of leadership. It shows initiative, humility, and respect for others' expertise. The help framework for requests. H. Humble. Acknowledge the person's expertise and express genuine appreciation for their time. E. Explicit. Be specific about what you're asking for and why. L. Limited. Respect their time by making focused, bounded requests. P. Prepared. Do your homework first and come with thoughtful questions. Example of a poor request. Hi, I saw you're successful in business. Could I pick your brain sometime over coffee? I have lots of questions about entrepreneurship. Example of a strong request. Hi, Sarah. I've been following your company's growth and admire how you built your customer acquisition system. I'm launching a similar business and would love 15 minutes of your time to ask 2 specific questions about your early marketing strategies. I've already researched your case studies and have specific questions about implementation. Would you be available for a brief call next week? Building mutual value relationships. The strongest support relationships are built on mutual value exchange. Here's how to create win-win dynamics. For mentors and advisors, implement their advice and report back on results. Offer to help with their projects or initiatives. Make introductions to people who could help them. Promote their work to your network. Send them relevant articles or opportunities. For peers and collaborators, share resources and opportunities. Provide honest feedback on their work. Collaborate on projects where your skills complement. Support their launches and initiatives. Hold each other accountable to goals. For champions and amplifiers, Create content that serves their needs. Recognize and appreciate their support publicly. Provide exceptional value in your work. Be responsive and grateful for their advocacy. Help connect them with others in your network. The accountability partnership system. One of the most powerful elements of a support ecosystem is structured accountability. Here's how to create accountability relationships that actually work. Choose the right accountability partner, someone working on similarly challenging goals, someone whose work ethic and integrity you respect, someone willing to be honest about your progress, someone whose success you genuinely want to support. Structure your accountability system. Weekly check-ins, 20-30 minutes. What did you commit to accomplishing this week? What did you actually accomplish? What obstacles did you encounter? What are you committing to for next week? How can your partner help you succeed? Monthly reviews, 45-60 minutes. Review overall progress toward major goals. Assess what's working and what needs adjustment. Plan strategic changes for the upcoming month. Celebrate wins and learn from setbacks. Online community engagement. In addition to one-on-one relationships, participating in online communities can provide valuable support and learning opportunities. Choosing the right communities. Communities focused on your specific goals or industry. Active communities with helpful, supportive members. Communities with a mix of beginners and experts. Well-moderated communities with clear guidelines. Contributing effectively. Give before you get. Answer others' questions and share resources before asking for help. Be specific. Ask detailed questions that generate useful discussions. Share your journey. Document your progress and lessons learned. Celebrate others. Recognize and congratulate community members' successes. Maintaining your support network. Building relationships is just the beginning. Maintaining them requires ongoing attention. Regular communication. Update key supporters on your progress. Quarterly, share relevant opportunities or resources when you find them. Congratulate supporters on their successes. Check in personally, not just when you need something. Express gratitude. Thank people specifically for how they've helped you. Acknowledge their contributions publicly when appropriate. Send handwritten notes for particularly meaningful support. Find ways to celebrate your supporters' achievements. Evolve your network. As your goals evolve, assess whether your support network still serves you. Gradually reduce time with relationships that don't add mutual value. Actively seek new relationships that align with your current objectives. Be willing to step into mentor roles for others who are earlier in their journey. The compound effect of community. When you invest in building a strong support ecosystem, you're not just getting help with your current goals, you're building relationships that will support your success for years or decades to come. Many of the most successful people attribute their biggest opportunities to relationships they built years earlier. The mentor who introduces you to a key client. The peer who becomes a business partner. The early supporter who recommends you for a major opportunity. Your support ecosystem becomes a compound asset that grows more valuable over time. As you achieve your goals and develop expertise, you become a more valuable member of others' networks, which strengthens your own network in return. Your network building action plan. Before moving to the final chapter, create a specific plan for building your support ecosystem. 1. Audit your current network. Who currently supports your goals in each layer? 2. Identify your gaps. What types of support do you need that you don't currently have? 3. Choose 3 target relationships. Who are specific people you'd like to connect with in the next month? Number 4. Define your value proposition. What can you offer to potential supporters? 5. Create your outreach plan. How will you approach each target relationship? 6. Set up accountability. Who will you ask to be your accountability partner, and how will you structure it? Remember, Building a support ecosystem isn't networking for networking's sake. It's about creating a community of mutual support around meaningful goals. When done authentically, it doesn't just help you achieve your dreams, it helps others achieve theirs too. The path to significant achievement is rarely traveled alone. Your willingness to build relationships, ask for help, and support others isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. Chapter 9. From Goal to Legacy. The question that changes everything. As we reach the final chapter of this journey together, I want you to imagine a moment many years from now. You're looking back on your life and someone asks you, what did you build that mattered? What did you create that made the world a little bit better? What legacy did you leave? How would you answer? This isn't a morbid exercise, it's a clarifying one, because the goals you're working on today aren't just about achieving personal success. They're about becoming the person you're meant to be and creating the impact you're meant to have. The difference between goal achievement and legacy creation is the difference between winning a game and changing how the game is played. The story of two successful people. Meet Janet and Robert, both of whom achieved remarkable success by conventional standards. Janet built a thriving consulting business that allowed her to travel the world, buy her dream home, and achieve financial independence by age 45. She was disciplined, strategic, and accomplished everything on her goal list. But when she achieved her financial targets, she felt an unexpected emptiness. Is this it? She wondered. I achieved everything I wanted, but somehow it doesn't feel like enough. Robert started with similar ambitions, but somewhere along his journey, his perspective shifted. As he built his business, he began mentoring young entrepreneurs in his community. As he achieved financial success, he started a scholarship fund for first-generation college students. As he developed expertise, he began speaking and writing about sustainable business practices. 20 years later, Janet was comfortable but restless, searching for meaning beyond her personal achievements. Robert had built a business that continued to thrive, but more importantly, he had influenced hundreds of other entrepreneurs, changed dozens of young people's life trajectories, and contributed to important conversations about business ethics. Both achieved their goals. Only one created a legacy. What is a legacy? A legacy isn't what you accumulate, it's what you contribute. It's not about the size of your bank account or the impressiveness of your achievements. It's about the positive impact your life has on other people and the world around you. Your legacy includes the people you influence, who becomes better because of their interaction with you, the problems you solve, what needs do you address through your work and actions, the example you set, what possibilities do you demonstrate for others, the systems you create, what processes, organizations, or ideas will continue to create value after you're gone. The beautiful thing about legacy thinking is that it transforms your personal goals from self-serving achievements into service-oriented contributions. This shift doesn't make your goals smaller, it makes them more meaningful. The legacy-driven goal framework. When you approach your goals with legacy thinking, everything changes. Your motivation becomes more sustainable, your strategies become more creative, and your impact becomes more significant. Step 1. Connect your goals to your values. Legacy starts with clarity about what matters most to you. Ask yourself, what principles do you want your life to represent? What would you want people to say about your character and contributions? What aspects of your personality and abilities do you most want to develop and share? Step 2. Expand your definition of success. Beyond personal achievement, consider relational success. Who will you help, teach, or inspire along the way? Contributory success. What problems will you help solve, or what value will you create for others? Developmental success. How will pursuing this goal make you a better person? Systemic success. What systems, processes, or ideas will you create that can benefit others? Step 3. Build service into your strategy. Look for ways to make your goal achievement process itself beneficial to others. Document and share your learning journey. Mentor others who are working on similar goals. Create resources, tools, or content that helps others succeed. Use your platform or influence to highlight important causes or other people's work. The ripple effect principle. One of the most powerful aspects of legacy thinking is understanding that your actions create ripple effects far beyond what you can see or measure. When you mentor one person, you're not just influencing that individual, you're influencing everyone they will go on to mentor. When you build a sustainable business, you're not just creating personal wealth, you're modeling responsible entrepreneurship for others to follow. When you pursue your creative dreams, you're not just expressing yourself, you're giving others permission to pursue their own creative dreams. The multiplication factor. Every positive action you take has the potential to inspire, enable, or directly create multiple additional positive actions by others. This means your legacy isn't limited by your personal capacity, it's amplified by your influence on others' capacity. 4 pillars of legacy creation. Pillar 1. Excellence in your craft. Legacy begins with becoming genuinely excellent at something meaningful. This isn't about perfection, it's about the pursuit of mastery in service of something larger than yourself. Questions to consider. What could you become so good at that people seek you out for guidance? How could you push the boundaries of what's possible in your field? What standards of quality and integrity do you want to be known for? Pillar 2. Generosity with your knowledge. As you develop expertise, you have a choice. Hoard your knowledge or share it generously. Legacy builders choose generosity. Ways to share knowledge: teaching or mentoring others, formally or informally. Creating content that educates or inspires. Speaking at events or conferences. Writing about your experiences and insights. Contributing to open source projects or collaborative efforts. Pillar 3. Investment in others' success. Legacy isn't just about your own achievements, it's about your role in enabling others' achievements. Investment strategies: mentoring people who are earlier in their journey, creating opportunities for others to showcase their talents, making introductions that benefit others, advocating for people who deserve recognition or opportunities, building systems or organizations that develop other people's potential. Pillar 4. Contribution to important causes. Connect your personal goals to larger purposes that matter beyond your individual success. Connection strategies: align your business with social or environmental causes. Use your platform to raise awareness about important issues. Donate time, money, or expertise to causes you care about. Integrate purpose-driven elements into your work. Advocate for positive changes in your industry or community. The legacy mindset shift. Adopting legacy thinking requires several important mindset shifts, from scarcity to abundance. Scarcity thinking: if I share my knowledge, connections, opportunities, I'll have less for myself. Abundance thinking: the more value I create for others, the more valuable I become. From competition to collaboration. Competitive thinking: I need to beat others to succeed. Collaborative thinking: I can succeed while helping others succeed too. From short-term to long-term. Short-term thinking: what will this get me right now? Long-term thinking: what will this build over time, and how will it continue to create value? From transaction to relationship. Transactional thinking: what can this person do for me? Relational thinking: how can we create mutual value and lasting connection? Building your legacy action plan. Legacy creation doesn't happen automatically. It requires intentional planning and consistent action. Here's how to build legacy thinking into your current goals. The daily legacy practice. Each day, ask yourself, how can I pursue my goals in a way that also benefits others? What knowledge or insight can I share today? How can I support someone else's success today? What can I do today that my future self will be proud of? The weekly legacy review. Each week, assess: What positive impact did I have on others this week? How did I contribute to something larger than myself? What did I learn that I could teach others? How did I live up to my values in pursuing my goals? The monthly legacy planning. Each month, plan, how can I expand my positive impact next month? What opportunities exist to help others or contribute to important causes? What systems or resources could I create that would benefit others? How can I better integrate my values into my goal pursuit? The compound effect of legacy thinking. When you approach your goals with legacy thinking, several powerful effects compound over time. Increased motivation, purpose, driven goals are more sustainable than purely personal ones. When your success contributes to others' success, you'll find deeper wells of motivation during difficult times. Enhanced creativity. Thinking about impact on others opens up new approaches and solutions. You'll discover strategies you never would have considered when thinking only about personal benefit. Expanded opportunities. People want to work with, support, and recommend individuals who are making positive contributions. Legacy thinking often creates more opportunities than purely self-interested approaches. Deeper fulfillment. Achievement feels hollow when it's only about personal gain. Legacy-driven achievement creates a deeper satisfaction that lasts. Lasting impact. Personal achievements benefit you for your lifetime. Legacy achievements can benefit others for generations. Your legacy declaration. As we conclude this journey together, I want you to create what I call a legacy declaration, a statement that connects your current goals to the impact you want to have. Template. I am pursuing your specific goal, not just to personal benefit, but to contribution to others, the world. Through this journey, I will specific ways you'll help others or create positive impact. My success will be measured not just by personal metrics, but by impact metrics. The legacy I want to create through this goal is lasting positive effect. Example, I am pursuing the goal of building a successful online education business, not just to achieve financial independence, but to democratize access to high-quality business education. Through this journey, I will mentor other educators, create scholarships for underprivileged students, and share everything I learn about online education. My success will be measured not just by revenue and student enrollment, but by the number of students who go on to build their own successful businesses and the number of other educators I help succeed. The legacy I want to create through this goal is a more accessible and effective business education ecosystem. The end is the beginning. As you close this audiobook and continue on your achievement journey, remember that every goal you pursue is an opportunity to create a legacy. Every skill you develop, every challenge you overcome, and every success you achieve can become a contribution to something larger than yourself. The frameworks, strategies, and mindsets you've learned in this audiobook aren't just tools for personal success. They're tools for creating positive change in the world. When you turn your dreams into reality, you're not just improving your own life, you're demonstrating what's possible for others and potentially inspiring them to pursue their own meaningful goals. Your dreams matter not just because they're yours, but because they represent your unique contribution to the world. No one else has your exact combination of experiences, perspectives, abilities, and opportunities. No one else can create the specific impact that you can create. The gap between dreaming and achieving isn't just about you getting what you want, it's about the world getting what you have to offer. So dream boldly, plan strategically, act consistently, and build generously. Your future self is counting on you. But more importantly, all the people whose lives will be touched by your success are counting on you too. The blueprint is in your hands. The journey begins now. The legacy starts today. Go build something that matters. Conclusion. Your achievement journey begins now. Thank you for investing this hour in your future. You now have a complete blueprint for turning your dreams into reality. The architecture that supports sustainable achievement. The clarity that turns vague wishes into specific destinations. The systems that overcome resistance and build momentum, the mindset that interprets challenges as opportunities, the community that accelerates your progress, the legacy perspective that makes your success meaningful. But knowledge without action is merely entertainment. Your transformation begins the moment you close this audiobook and take your first small step toward the goal that matters most to you. Remember, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. Your dreams are waiting. Your future self is counting on you. The world needs what you have to offer. It's time to bridge the gap between dreaming and achieving. It's time to build your dream into reality. The blueprint is complete. The journey begins now.